Olivier family of companies.
Good morning, Acadiana. I'm meteorologist Chris Cozart here in the live Doppler 10 Storm Team Weather Center. The National Hurricane Center has just released their latest update on what will become Major Hurricane Ida. And unfortunately, it looks like impacts will be right across south and southeast Louisiana. In fact, now we have hurricane watches that have been issued for more inland parishes, and that's for a majority of Acadiana. So let's get right to the watches that we have in place. So anywhere there that you're seeing the shaded in pink, that is the hurricane watches. That includes Jeff Davis, Acadia Parish, up towards Evangeline, and even Avoyelles Parish included in this hurricane watch. Any of the yellow parishes, that is a tropical storm watch at this point. So we have watches in place. More than likely, these will transition to a hurricane warning as we get into Saturday, more than likely, and you see the hurricane watches extend all the way through New Orleans and the coastal regions of Mississippi as well. Storm surge. We have a storm surge watch in effect for those same areas all across our coastal communities at the moment, given the certain path that we are looking at. Storm surge forecasting, again, is very difficult, but we're looking anywhere from about 2 to 7 feet in much of our coastal parishes here in Acadiana. So overall, the storm surge threat, not necessarily our highest threat. It looks to be mainly a wind event at this point, but any type of subtle shifts to the west in path will give us higher impacts and more severe impacts when it comes to rainfall and storm surge. Satellite and radar right now showing a good amount of tropical waves there with showers and thunderstorms not associated with Ida across the northern Gulf. That will give us some scattered rain today. But here is the latest on Ida, starting to strengthen already. That's not the best of news. We thought that it would at least remain on the weak side as it moves over Cuba later today and then into the southern Gulf. But aircraft reconnaissance already has found 65-mile-per-hour winds in this, so we're already looking at a very strong tropical storm. It may make a run at hurricane before it makes landfall across Cuba, so we are expecting that to move over the western edges of Cuba. National Hurricane Center thinks that it will be a hurricane by that time, and that would be this evening. Winds at 75 miles per hour, and that, again, is not the best of news when you look at the forecast progression after that, because once we move into the central and northern parts of the Gulf of Mexico, that's when the environment becomes even more conducive for rapid development here and rapid intensification. So by Saturday morning, we're still at Category 1 strength. By Saturday evening, then we reach Category 2 strength. And here's some adjustments from the 4 a.m. update that you've been seeing all morning to the current 10 a.m. update that just came out about 10 minutes ago. Still expected to become a major hurricane. They have now upped the strength even a little bit more. At one point, it was at 115 miles per hour, so just a Category 3 hurricane, but now they're bringing the winds up to 120 miles per hour as it makes landfall sometime Sunday evening, 7 to 8 p.m., and they had a slight adjustment to the west there for the center of that cone. And that's a big, big difference here. It can make all the difference when it comes to impacts to Acadiana. The worst side of the storm is still going to be the eastern side. That's where we're going to see the highest rainfall totals, possibly over a foot or more. The storm surge threat will be the highest on the east or the right side of the storm, and the tornado threat will be on the right side of the storm. But this will be such a compact storm that really has its act together and strong that on the east and west side of the storm, we're going to have some significant winds at landfall. Fortunately, and the models do show this as well, a quick weakening process. You notice as it gets to Lafayette Monday morning at 7 a.m., it's already down to tropical storm strength. So in a matter of 12 hours, we have it from major hurricane to tropical storm strength. So there is a little bit of that it should weaken rather rapidly once it makes landfall. So here's the tropical models. That black line that you're seeing, that is the forecast from the National Hurricane Center. A lot of those tropical models clustered right in the center of that. So we're looking at a landfall somewhere around Terrebonne Parish to possibly St. Mary Parish. Anything further west, again, will increase the severity of impacts into Acadiana. I think central and eastern Acadiana really need to start to be on high alert with this when it comes to the wind impact from this, as we could see easily hurricane force winds and wind gusts over 100 miles per hour. Now, the GFS model has been the best at handling tropical systems over the last 1 to 2 years. They had an update to this model about a year ago, and it really made a difference. So we're putting a lot of eggs in our basket right now with the GFS model. It really outperformed Laura last year. Laura was the Euro. I mean, it outperformed Euro during Laura, excuse me. And as we look at the GFS model, 2:30 that Sunday afternoon, a very tightly compacted system. That's a sign of a strong hurricane making landfall somewhere around, it looks like, Terrebonne to St. Mary Parish. That's almost exactly where the National Hurricane Center is going. So I think they're putting a lot of their trust in the GFS model as well. On the eastern side of that system, we could see over a foot of rainfall, but that would be outside of Acadiana. The drier side of the storm will be on the west, but there still could be some issues and St. Martin Parish, Iberia Parish, when it comes to some of that wraparound rain. And then we have that northerly flow, so although we may get an initial storm surge before landfall, a lot of that water will be pushed back out into the Gulf of Mexico. So as we go into Monday morning, we have low water issues, I think, across Vermilion Bay, and the system finally goes up into Mississippi. Here is some of the wind gusts. Wind gusts from what at least the GFS is thinking. It's not as aggressive with the amount of strength with this, but you can see as it makes landfall there on Sunday night, winds gusting to about 100 miles per hour there across Franklin, 70-mile-per-hour winds gusting around New Iberia. If this shifts any further west, again, these numbers will be increasing on us. The further west you are in Acadiana and in the state, the better you are looking. So folks in Lake Charles that are uneasy from last year, looking a little bit better there. I think you'll see maybe tropical storm conditions, but as we go through the early morning hours of Monday, unfortunately, when we're in the darkness of night, we're going to have to deal with another hurricane making its way through Acadiana, or at least just east of Acadiana, that circulation. Tropical storm wind probability all across Acadiana, pretty high, obviously, with how quickly that system moves in and where that center of location will be moving. So anywhere in this area that you're seeing some of the orange to the red, a high probability that we see winds 40 miles to possibly 70 miles per hour there. And again, the cutoff for the rainfall, it's extreme. On the right side, the east side of the system, that's where we're going to see the really high rainfall totals, and the GFS painting 10 inches of rainfall in Baton Rouge, almost a foot to over a foot of rainfall there in New Orleans, and then central and western Acadiana, a sharp cutoff to about 1 to 3 inches. So again, we are right there walking the tightrope when it comes to what type of impacts we're going to see from Ida. We don't want to see any further shifts in the model that take it further west. That will bring in a heavy rain threat for more of Acadiana. That will bring in the storm surge threat as well. I think the wind threat, though, is still high based on the current path we have right now in the current forecast. So this is really for central and eastern Acadiana. We are looking at winds 40 to 75 miles per hour, 80-mile-per-hour wind gusts, even stronger than that possible, especially across eastern Acadiana, St. Martinville, Henderson, Breaux Bridge, those areas. We are concerned with rapid intensification. We can never really forecast that. We know that there is the threat that happens, so some of these numbers could actually increase, unfortunately. The medium threat for flash flooding and coastal storm surge, we're going to keep it low to medium at this point. I'm not overly concerned because of the way the path is right now, but if there is any movement, any more landfall that's further west than what we're expecting from St. Mary Parish or Terrebonne Parish, these numbers will increase as well, and those weather impacts will increase as we continue to track Ida. Again, it's a tropical storm, as we are expecting it to become a major hurricane before landfall sometime Sunday evening, right around 7 to 9 p.m. across southeastern Louisiana. I'm meteorologist Chris Cozart. The next major update will be 4 p.m. from the National Hurricane Center. They do intermediate updates throughout the afternoon, but the next major one will be 4 p.m. Of course, we have News 10 at noon to have a full look at that forecast once again right here on KLFY News 10.
This has been a KLFY News 10 weather alert, brought to you by the Jim Olivier family of companies.